Picture this. You've booked your dream cruise vacation. Your bags are packed, your boarding pass is ready, and you're counting down the minutes until you step onto that floating paradise. But here's the plot twist nobody tells you about. That innocent item sitting in your suitcase right now could be the reason security pulls you aside, searches your luggage, and potentially ruins your entire vacation before it even starts. I'm not talking about the obvious stuff like fireworks or weapons. I'm talking about things that seem so normal, so everyday, that you'd never think twice about packing them. Things like your favorite Bluetooth speaker, that smart suitcase you just bought, or even your gaming console for those sea-day afternoons. Welcome to 2025, where cruise lines have had to get creative with their banned items list. And trust me, some of these new restrictions are going to shock you. From high-tech gadgets to seemingly harmless decorations, the list of prohibited items has exploded in ways that would make your head spin. So before you find yourself standing at the security checkpoint watching them confiscate your belongings while other passengers stare, let's dive into over 20 surprising things cruise lines had to ban this year. First up, we need to talk about live streaming restrictions. Now I know what you're thinking. Everyone loves showing off their vacation on social media, right? Well, cruise lines have finally put their foot down on this one. You can no longer go live from theaters, kids' clubs, or anywhere near security checkpoints. Basically, if there are families around or sensitive areas nearby, your live stream dreams are over. Here's the reality check. Nobody signed up to be featured in your 10-minute rant about the buffet running out of crab legs. Grandma didn't give permission to be in the background of your TikTok live while she's half asleep at the safety drill. The cruise lines figured this out pretty quickly when complaints started rolling in about privacy violations and unauthorized filming of other passengers. You can still film your cabin tour or show off that fancy cocktail by the pool. Just don't whip out your phone and start broadcasting in areas where families are trying to enjoy their vacation in peace. Trust me, security will escort you to guest services for a very uncomfortable conversation about respecting other passengers' privacy. Next, let's talk about something that's been driving families crazy for years: cabin privacy solutions. You know how cruise cabins are basically glorified closets where your entire family can hear absolutely everything? Well, some genius travelers figured out they could bring shower curtains and magnetic hooks to create DIY room dividers. Problem solved, right? Wrong. Carnival saw this trend and immediately shut it down. Curtains, fabric dividers, makeshift walls, all officially banned. Their reasoning? Fire safety. Apparently, hanging flammable materials around your already tiny cabin isn't the brightest idea when you're floating in the middle of the ocean. Who would have thought? So now, instead of enjoying your cleverly divided space, you're back to the original problem of zero privacy. But hey, at least you'll get plenty of quality family bonding time, whether you want it or not. Just think of it as forced togetherness with an ocean view. Here's one that catches people off guard every single time: oversized mobility devices. Now, mobility scooters are absolutely essential for many passengers, and cruise lines completely support accessibility. But there's a new rule that's causing some confusion. If your scooter looks like it belongs in a motorcycle showroom instead of a medical supply store, it's not making it on board. The basic rule is simple. If it can't fit through a standard cabin doorway, you'll need to book an accessible stateroom with wider doors. No exceptions. That means no showing up with the monster truck version of mobility scooters and expecting to navigate narrow hallways like you're starring in Fast and Furious Cruise Edition. Some of these devices have turning radiuses bigger than the ship's corridors. Other passengers are practically doing gymnastics to get around them. So keep it reasonable, keep it practical, and make sure your mobility device is actually designed for cruise ship living. Before we continue, I want to take a moment to thank everyone watching. Your support has been absolutely incredible, and I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to watch these videos. I've actually got a cruise scheduled for next week, and I'm super excited to capture some fresh footage to make even better content for this channel. It's been amazing connecting with fellow cruise enthusiasts, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments about your favorite cruise lines and any crazy banned item stories you might have. Now, Let's talk about smart luggage with built-in batteries. Welcome to the future where your suitcase has more technology than your first smartphone. These bags can charge your devices, track their location with GPS, and some even have built-in scales. Sounds amazing, right? Well, cruise lines have decided otherwise. The problem is lithium batteries. Cruise lines are now saying if the battery can't be easily removed from your luggage, your high-tech suitcase is staying on the dock. Their concern is fire safety, which makes sense when you're dealing with batteries in the middle of the ocean where fire departments can't exactly rush to help. So while your luggage might be smart enough to send you text updates about its location, if the crew can't pop that battery out for safe storage, your investment is about to become a very expensive paperweight sitting in port while you sail away. Here's something that's going to make a lot of tech-savvy cruisers very unhappy. Personal Wi-Fi devices are now banned. I'm talking about those portable routers and mini Starlink devices that clever passengers thought would solve the eternal problem of terrible cruise ship internet. Look, we all know cruise ship Wi-Fi is expensive, slow, and sometimes feels like it's running on hamster power. So naturally, people started bringing their own internet solutions. The cruise lines quickly caught on and shut this down hard. They claim these devices interfere with navigation systems, which honestly makes sense. The last thing anyone wants is the captain's radar getting scrambled because someone's trying to stream Netflix in their cabin. But let's be real here. It's also about protecting those $30 per day Wi-Fi packages. So unless you want your expensive router confiscated at security, get ready to pay cruise prices for internet speed that would make dial-up look fast. Smoking and vaping restrictions have gotten even stricter. There was a time when balcony smokers thought they'd found the perfect loophole. After all, balconies are technically outside, right? Well, not anymore. Most major cruise lines have completely banned smoking and vaping on balconies. The reasoning is pretty solid. One tiny spark and your relaxing smoke break could turn into a ship-wide emergency. Plus, nobody paid thousands of dollars for an ocean view balcony just to smell someone else's cotton candy-flavored vape clouds drifting over from next door. Break this rule, and you're looking at serious fines or potentially being removed from the ship at the next port. Imagine trying to explain to your family that you got kicked off the cruise for vaping on your balcony. That's definitely not the vacation story anyone wants to tell. Bluetooth speakers have officially been banned by several major cruise lines. Carnival put them on their prohibited list, and Royal Caribbean won't let you bring them to their private islands either. The reasoning is pretty obvious when you think about it. Nothing kills the peaceful cruise vibe faster than someone blasting their personal playlist at maximum volume while everyone else is trying to relax. Nobody signed up to hear someone's ultimate workout mix echoing across the pool deck at 8 in the morning. If you need music, invest in good headphones or enjoy the live entertainment the ship provides. Your fellow passengers will definitely appreciate the consideration. Door decorations have become a surprisingly controversial topic. Some cruise lines are cracking down hard on cabin door decorating, which has become like an unofficial cruise sport. Norwegian has gone full strict mode with a complete no-door decor policy. Meanwhile, Carnival has banned one very specific symbol that catches people off guard: the upside-down pineapple. If you're new to cruising, here's your crash course. That innocent-looking upside-down pineapple is actually a signal for a very adult-oriented lifestyle. Put that on your door, and you might get some unexpected visitors looking for more than just friendly conversation. Carnival decided family-friendly ships don't need that kind of confusion, so crew members now remove upside-down pineapple decorations when they spot them. Imagine being the crew member whose official job includes pineapple patrol duties. Environmental restrictions have hit the high seas hard. Single-use plastics are being eliminated across the industry. Gone are the tiny shampoo bottles, disposable cups, and mini water bottles. Instead, you'll find refillable dispensers, paper straws that practically dissolve in your drink, and water stations that make you feel like you're training for a marathon. Some passengers love the environmental initiative. Others are dramatically threatening to never cruise again because they can't get plastic straws for their cocktails. The reality is this trend is here to stay. The oceans are getting cleaner, marine life is safer, and you'll just have to adjust to your margarita tasting slightly like wet cardboard from the paper straw. Power solutions have become a major headache. Cruise cabins typically have about 2 electrical outlets, but somehow you need to charge your phone, your partner's phone, smartwatch, tablet, camera, and portable fan. For years, the solution was cruise-approved power strips without surge protection. Simple fix, right? Not anymore. Royal Caribbean has banned even those approved power strips. Extension cords are also prohibited unless you get special permission ahead of time. So what's left? Multi-port USB charging hubs are about your only option. The cruise lines say it's about fire safety, but if you've ever seen the tangled mess of electrical cords behind any guest services desk, you know fire safety was already hanging by a thread. Now families will be fighting over those 2 outlets like it's the last piece of pizza at the buffet. Gaming enthusiasts are going to hate this next one. Gaming consoles and HDMI functionality are being restricted. On Carnival ships, the HDMI ports on cabin televisions are disabled. That means your Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo Switch becomes completely useless. No Mario Kart tournaments in your stateroom. No Fortnite sessions at sea. Some cruise lines have gone even further and banned gaming consoles entirely. The reasoning is simple. They want you participating in ship activities, not hiding in your cabin grinding for virtual achievements. Plus, let's be honest, cruise ship Wi-Fi can barely handle loading photos, let alone supporting online gaming. By the time your game loads, you'll probably be back in port. So unless you're planning to stare at a blank screen and roleplay as a disappointed gamer, leave the console at home and try shuffleboard instead. Homemade food restrictions have become stricter. You might think bringing fresh-baked cookies for the crew or grandma's famous casserole would be a nice gesture. The cruise lines disagree completely. Absolutely no homemade or perishable food is allowed on board. This makes perfect sense when you consider food safety. Nobody wants your Tupperware surprise going bad in Caribbean heat and turning your cabin into a biohazard zone. But every cruise, people still try. They show up with cakes, pies, entire meals, then act shocked when security confiscates everything. Sealed snacks from stores are perfectly fine. Chips, candy bars, packaged cookies, no problem. But the moment your food looks homemade instead of factory-produced, it's getting tossed. Security doesn't care if it's your award-winning banana bread. The only thing winning now is the disappointed look on your face. Pool accessories have been revolutionized. Everyone dreams of floating on a giant unicorn while sipping cocktails. It looks incredible on Instagram, but here's the reality. Cruise ship pools are roughly the size of large hot tubs. Imagine 10 people showing up with inflatable flamingos, pizza slices, and rainbow floaties. Congratulations, the pool is now 90% rubber and 10% water. Cruise lines banned oversized inflatables years ago, but now they're being even stricter. Personal kiddie pools, blow-up loungers, even smaller floaties are getting confiscated. Nobody wants some guy's 6-foot inflatable duck taking over the entire pool area. Save the giant floaties for beach days, or better yet, leave them at home entirely. Your fellow passengers will thank you for not turning pool time into an obstacle course. Self-defense items continue to be problematic. You'd think this would be obvious, but people still try to bring pepper spray, tasers, and various weapons on board. The reasoning is usually something like, you never know what might happen, or better safe than sorry. Here's what you do know. You're boarding a floating hotel with professional security, not entering a post-apocalyptic wasteland. The result of bringing prohibited weapons? Security confiscates everything, local police might get involved, and you could face detention in foreign ports. I've heard stories of passengers being held by authorities in Jamaica and Mexico for carrying pepper spray. That's definitely not the souvenir you want to explain to people back home. The scariest thing on your cruise should be the price of premium drink packages. Cannabis products remain completely banned regardless of local laws. This trips up many passengers because CBD is legal in their home state and sold everywhere from gas stations to pharmacies. Doesn't matter. On cruise ships, any cannabis-related product is strictly prohibited. It doesn't matter if it's oil, edibles, topical creams, or that vape pen you swear is just for medical purposes. Security dogs will find it, and consequences in 2025 are getting harsher. You can be denied boarding entirely or potentially blacklisted from cruise lines permanently. People try creative hiding spots like mixing gummies with regular candy or disguising vape pens as innocent devices. Security knows all the tricks. When caught, you're not just embarrassed, you might be sitting in a police car at the port instead of enjoying your vacation. Baby monitors have had a wild journey. For years, parents relied on them to keep tabs on sleeping children while enjoying adult activities. Then Royal Caribbean suddenly banned them, causing panic in parenting forums everywhere. Parents were outraged, threatening boycotts, demanding explanations. Then, in a surprising twist, the cruise line quietly removed them from the prohibited list months later. So where does that leave parents in 2025? Technically allowed on some cruise lines, but still risky. Many passengers report security confiscating them anyway, claiming interference with ship communication systems. Do you really want the captain's radio disrupted because your baby monitor is picking up static? Double check with your specific cruise line before packing, because while you think it's just a simple parenting tool, crew members might see it as unauthorized surveillance equipment. Sunscreen restrictions catch people completely off guard. Your regular drugstore sunscreen might actually be illegal at certain ports. Destinations like Hawaii, Aruba, and parts of Mexico have banned sunscreens containing chemicals that damage coral reefs. If your sunscreen isn't reef safe, it could be confiscated at port, and some locations actually impose fines. Imagine explaining to friends that you got fined for smuggling SPF 50. Not exactly the adventure story you plan to share. Do yourself and marine life a favor by choosing reef-safe options before sailing. You'll avoid legal trouble and get to feel good about protecting ocean ecosystems every time you reapply. Camouflage clothing is illegal in many Caribbean destinations. This shocks tourists every single time. Countries like Jamaica, Barbados, and St. Lucia have made wearing camouflage patterns illegal for civilians. If you show up in trendy camo shorts or military print accessories, you could face fines or be escorted back to the ship. These countries reserve camouflage exclusively for military personnel, and they don't appreciate tourists strutting around in what looks like military cosplay. Yet every cruise, some passenger insists it's just their fashion choice right before local authorities make them change clothes or issue citations. Leave the camo patterns at home unless your dream vacation involves explaining to family why you were detained for wearing the wrong pants. Communication devices like walkie-talkies have been banned by several cruise lines. Before smartphones and ship messaging apps, families used these to stay in touch across the massive ships. You'd hear, "Breaker, breaker, where are you?" echoing through hallways constantly. Norwegian officially banned them, claiming they interfere with ship communications. This makes sense considering the last thing needed is static, disrupting navigation while the captain attempts to dock a 150,000-ton vessel. The funny part is people still bring them. You'll see parents shouting over and out in buffet lines while crew members wonder if they're planning military operations. Use the ship's app for communication or try the revolutionary concept of agreeing to meet somewhere specific. Open flame items remain absolutely prohibited. This should be common sense, but apparently it isn't. People continue attempting to pack candles, incense, and oil burners to make cabins more atmospheric. Cruise lines maintain zero-tolerance policies on anything involving open flames. Cruise ships are essentially floating fire hazards. One small spark in a cabin could create catastrophic emergencies for everyone on board. Yet security regularly finds candles in passenger luggage. Who thinks a vanilla-scented candle is worth risking everyone's safety? The crew doesn't care if it's lavender-infused or specially blessed. Anything with open flames goes straight into disposal bins. Want ambience? Pack battery-operated alternatives or enjoy the romantic lighting already provided in your cabin. Finally, alcohol smuggling remains the ultimate cruise contraband. Most cruise lines allow one bottle of wine per person on embarkation day, maybe some canned beverages if you're lucky. But hard liquor, spirits, and creative concealment attempts are strictly banned. Yet passengers treat alcohol smuggling like an Olympic sport. Social media is full of elaborate schemes involving fake shampoo bottles filled with vodka, rum disguised in mouthwash containers, and wine bags sewn into clothing. The cruise lines are watching these videos too and adapting their security accordingly. Carnival's executives have admitted they monitor social media specifically to catch these smuggling techniques. The consequences have escalated significantly. Getting caught in 2025 could result in lifetime bans from cruise lines. Imagine explaining that you can never cruise with Carnival again because you absolutely needed that bottle of rum in your stateroom. Drinks on ships are expensive, but is it worth being escorted to security, having luggage searched, and potentially losing cruising privileges forever? The smart money says just pay for the overpriced cocktails and keep your vacation intact. So there you have it. Over 20 surprising, weird, and sometimes completely ridiculous things cruise lines had to ban in 2025. From live streaming restrictions to mobility scooters the size of small vehicles to pineapples that signal more than tropical vibes, the prohibited items list gets stranger every year. The key takeaway here is always check your cruise line's current prohibited items list before packing. It'll save you from arguing with security over shower curtains or watching drug dogs discover your hidden gummies in the terminal. These rules exist for safety, legal compliance, and maintaining the vacation experience everyone paid for. If this helped you avoid potential cruise disasters, smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And I'd love to hear your stories in the comments about the weirdest prohibited items you've witnessed someone try to bring on board. Thanks for watching, and stick around because the algorithm thinks you'll enjoy the next video that's about to play.